In the morning I packed up, then killed some time waiting for the 11 o'clock ferry from Gobu to Matan. This is the most westerly of the cross-river ferries, and is a 2-hour journey across to the Gaspe Peninsula. From now on, the river would be on my left, at least until I turned the corner at my destination for the day at Foron National Park. The north shore of the Gaspe Peninsula forms a great arc, eventually trending to the southwest. The road hugs the shoreline between the impressively banded and convoluted rocks of the hills to the right and the Gulf of St. Lawrence to the left. After setting up in the Foron campground, I strolled down to the beach, hoping that the cliffs would be bathed in sunlight. They weren't, but they were still impressively wild and attractive, even in the hazy evening light. Back at the campground, the wildlife was on display. Mother Fox had found a den site in a culvert near one of the paths, evidently a good spot, as she had 8 cubs to raise. Back on the road in the morning, after a quick breakfast at the busy Tim's in Gaspe, the town, not the peninsula, I rode on to Percé. It always amazes me how a whole tourist industry can be built around a piece of rock, although the nearby gannet colony on Bonaventure Island and whale watching, particularly of the rare North Atlantic right whale, broaden its tourism attractions. The coast road along Chaleur Bay is pleasant enough, although spotted with houses, farms and villages. But the ride up the Matapedia Valley is divine. I stopped at the massive, slightly sagging covered bridge over the Matapedia River at Ruthierville. I'd been there before, in less pleasant conditions. After a perfectly adequate and surprisingly cheap night in a motel in Amqui, I headed south again, this time along inland roads towards Quebec's Lac-Megantic Park. I couldn't resist riding through another covered bridge, this one on the Matan River. And of course, once I'd been through one side, I had to go back the same way. One of the great things about riding in rural Quebec is the frequency with which you encounter rest stops. Many are like this, pleasant places to stop for a few moments to listen to the sound of the water, with little traffic noise to spoil the atmosphere. Before heading on to camp at the park for the night, I stopped in Saint-Michel-du-Squatec to buy some supplies for the next day, fill up with fuel, and eat some supper. I ordered the medium poutine. I was glad I hadn't ordered the large. The road into the campsite was an enjoyably curvaceous empty road, but I soon found my campsite and set up just in time to be eaten by black flies. It's a curious thing, but any black flies which make it inside the tent suddenly lose all interest in biting and panic to get out again. After a quick look at Petit Lac Tuladi, I explored some of the park's roads before hiding from the black flies for the night. The next part of the journey was a relatively short jaunt to Lac-Megantic, involving a short stretch of 4-lane highway from just south of Rivière-du-Loup as far as Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. From there, it was well-paved minor roads all the way. I'd been to Lac-Megantic before, scene of a devastating explosion in 2013 which had demolished much of the town centre. I was curious to see how the town had recovered from this catastrophe. Riding through the heart of the town, it was easy to recognize the new buildings that had been built since the explosion. The place looked crisp, clean and inviting. The town's planning committee must have decided that no structures should exceed 3 stories, as each new building was the same height. Once away from the former destruction zone, Lac-Megantic looked like any other small Quebec town, and before long I found my rest stop for the night. The eastern townships of Quebec was part of the homeland of the Abenaki people. Following American independence, many New Englanders still loyal to Britain moved north, some of whom settled in the eastern townships, eventually joined by additional settlers from the UK. More recently, French-Canadian people from other areas of Quebec have joined them, so that the region is now thoroughly mixed. This shows in the architecture, and in the shops and cafes where English is spoken just as often as French. The road I was on skirted the very top of Lake Champlain, where it pokes just north of the Vermont border and passes through the tourist town of Venise-en-Quebec. I'd always thought of tightly jammed together semi-permanent trailers as a uniquely English working-class seaside phenomenon, but I was wrong. Quebecers seem to love these seasonal suburbs, where your nearest neighbour is no more than an arm's length away. Orchards, fruit fields, stone houses, and plenty of churches, many displaying their Anglo roots. Although I still had quite a ride before I reached home, I was in no great hurry and I stopped often to photograph some of the churches which caught my eye. To get back into Ontario, I had to cross river channels a couple of times, then head back through eastern Ontario for home. The light was going, I was hungry, and I didn't have much enthusiasm for more video or photographs, so I'll end the trip here. In total, the ride was over 4,500 kilometers, sometimes chilly, sometimes windy, sometimes hot. Throughout, the Bergman was comfortable, reliable, and efficient. A good way to spend a few days. If you've enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy my books. They're available on Amazon and Audible. Just search for Nick Adams Motorcycle. Thanks for watching.